So, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy has been put into an interim role at NASA, as most of you probably have heard. But he just made a very exciting announcement about wanting to put a nuclear reactor on the moon.
Hello guys, welcome to my social commentary. My name is Ransom Joseph. Okay, once again, NASA is making headlines again, and not just for rocket and space workers, but for the world at large. In recent statements, this agency is planning to build a nuclear power plant on the moon. Yes, you heard me right, a nuclear power plant on the moon. Okay, to me, this is a reason why I think this is not advisable, because accidents can happen, and if a failed launch, a crash, or a miscalculation happens, it will result to spreading nuclear materials around the moon and the Earth orbit during transportation. Just watch this.
So, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy has been put into an interim role at NASA, as most of you probably have heard. But he just made a very exciting announcement about wanting to put a nuclear reactor on the moon. Watch this real quick, because it reminded me of something else. And I'll be right back with another comment.
In order to sustain a lunar economy, and if the U.S. is serious about competing with China and Russia, not just about getting back to the moon, landing on the moon, he says that he wants to put a U.S. spacecraft on the moon for 6 days, where they will then be able to send unmanned aircrafts to go and deliver further goods. Particularly, they talked about solar energy also, for example, but also building a nuclear reactor. I want to let you listen to Sean Duffy lay this out and why the U.S. intends under this administration to move forward with it.
If we're going to be able to sustain life on the moon to then go to Mars, this technology is critically important. And I would just note that we're behind, right? If we're going to engage in the race to the moon and the race to Mars, we have to get our act together. We have to marshal all of our resources, all of our focus on going to the moon, which is what we're going to do.
Next, we are going to steal.
Pause for effect.
The moon! And what? The moon is mine. The world will give me whatever I want to get it back. And I will be the greatest villain of all time.
I couldn't help myself. It just reminded me of Gru too much. We're going to steal the moon. Oh. My other comment about all of this space travel. I don't understand why we pour the amount of money we do into the space program when there are people on planet Earth who don't have housing, who don't have food, who don't have clean water, who don't have health care. I feel like we should try to solve those problems with more money put to those things than trying to get to the moon or Mars. Get into the moon. I do not believe that the moon landing was faked. To go back there, to put a nuclear reactor on there, to get to Mars, for what? But then again, I'm not a space girly. I do think there have been very significant technological advances from the space program that have been very beneficial to life as a whole. But I do feel like the priority is just a little... I don't understand the priority of it. Anyway, the moon!
They want to put a nuclear reactor on the moon. So America and Russia and China working together are in a space race at the moment to put a nuclear reactor on the moon. America's worried because China and Russia working together, they plan on getting there by 2035. Apparently the first people there can put up a keep out zone. America doesn't want that, and so they're planning on getting there first. This sort of echoes a sort of Cold War era space race that could go wrong and heighten tensions. Experts are raising the alarm because the first projection was for a 40 kilowatt fusion reactor. America now wants to put a 100 kilowatt fusion reactor. The reason behind all of this is the fact that they'll be able to run robotics up there, rovers and all sorts of machines that'll be doing all sorts of things up there. I'm sure we don't even know the full picture at this point. The only question is who's going to get there first and what's going to happen.
I am tired of arguing with dumb people in my comment section, so welcome to Physics 101. The sun is not the same as a moon reactor. Okay? So let's break this down like you're 5. No offense, but some of y'all clearly skipped physics and common sense. So the first step is, what is the sun actually doing? Let me explain this to you, okay? The sun is a natural fusion reactor. It takes hydrogen atoms, smashes them together under extreme pressure and heat, and turns them into helium. So the breakdown is fusion equals combining things. In the sun, hydrogen atoms, which are tiny particles, are getting squished together. That squish creates energy, light, heat, radiation, okay? That is what powers sunlight. That's why Earth is warm. Bonus fact, we can't build a real fusion reactor yet. Not one that works safely anyways. We've tried and it's still experimental and dangerous, okay? So now step 2 of this video is, how far away is the sun, okay? It's 93 million miles away. That matters. And here's why on the breakdown. Radiation from the sun is dangerous up close, like severely. We're not close. Earth has an atmosphere that protects us. The moon does not have one. Okay? Step 3 is, what is a fission reactor? Well, let's talk about what humans build. A nuclear fission reactor. That's where we split atoms, not smash them. So the breakdown, fission equals splitting things apart. Okay? We split uranium or plutonium atoms to make heat. That heat boils into steam. That steam turns turbines. That's how we get electricity. Now, step 4 of this video is, what does a reactor need to stay safe? A fission reactor needs constant supervision. It needs a cooling system, emergency shutoffs, shielding, a power grid, trained humans. The breakdown, if it overheats, it can explode or melt down. Meltdowns equal radioactive disasters. Think Chernobyl, for example. These need water to cool. The moon has no water. These need engineers. The moon has no people. These need backup systems. The moon has no backups. Step 5 in this entire video is, why is the moon a bad idea? Okay? The moon is not Earth, you guys. There's no gravity support, no atmosphere, no ecosystem. If something goes wrong, there's no fixing it. We only get one moon, okay? You can't call 911 from the moon. A meltdown would release radioactive dust into space. That dust can and will land on Earth and satellites and take them out. The moon affects tides and climate. We shouldn't mess with it. Step 6. This is the big picture of this entire video. So no, the sun is not the same as a space reactor. The sun is doing its job. You are not, by trying to put a nuclear fission reactor on the damn moon. Just because the sun is nuclear doesn't mean we can play with nukes in space. The sun is stable, it's distant, and self-contained. Man-made reactors are none of those things, no matter how much you want to say they are. Space is different than Earth. Let me say it again. Space is different than Earth.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday, yay! It's my Friday and I am really glad. Okay, so I know we haven't talked about politics in a couple days, but this one it's not really politics, but it is politics, and it's really funny. So I heard yesterday that the acting secretary of NASA, who's also the transportation secretary right now, said, we're going to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. You got to be shitting me. Why would we build a nuclear reactor on the moon? Why? And what has that got to do with anything that's going on right now, right? It's just, every day it's a comedy of errors with these clowns. Every damn day. It just, but I had to tell you that one because I thought it was hilarious. There's no reason for that at all. We need a lot more things in this country right now, and a nuclear reactor on the moon ain't one of them. I can tell you that. That's all I got today. I gotta go inside and get ready to go to work, even though I'm working from home today. But first, we gotta tell a stupid grandpa joke. So last night I had a dream that I was swimming in a sea of orange soda. Turns out it was just a fantasy. Look, y'all have a magical Tuesday, and tomorrow's my Saturday. Got a lot to do, but we're going to talk to you tomorrow, okay? I'll see you later.
Hold up. The United States is planning to build a nuclear reactor on the moon by 2030. Yeah, you heard me right. A literal nuclear reactor on the moon, by the way. And yet we still can't fix the cane, water pipes in Flint, or keep Puerto Rico's lights on for more than a few days at a time. But yeah, sure. Send the reactor to space because that's apparently more important. All right, let's talk about this, okay? The U.S. just fast-tracked a plan to build 100 kilowatt nuclear fission reactor on the moon. Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy wants private companies to submit proposals within 60 days. But why? Because he wants to beat China and Russia to it. They're worried about someone else making a stake of claim to power zones on the moon. So instead of working together, we're literally racing to plug in a reactor on a barren rock in space. And let me be clear. This isn't about science. This is about domination, control, optics, all under the excuse of advancing the Artemis program and preparing for Mars. But while they're out here planning power grids for the moon, Puerto Rico is out here living with a grid that literally fails every time the wind blows too hard. We've got entire towns with boil water notices, Asian piping, landslides destroying communities, and not a single whisper for real help. So let me ask you this. If we can send a fission reactor to the moon, why can't we fix the power lines in San Juan? If we can fund Space Race 2.0, why can't we stop the Paul brothers from illegally driving on protected beaches and crushing turtle nests? If we care so much about long-term survival, why aren't we investing in the very people and ecosystems keeping this planet alive? I mean, this is starting to feel less like science fiction and more like idiocracy. We've got billionaires buying up land in Puerto Rico, pushing people out, building crypto resorts on sacred grounds, and our government's out here doing Star Wars LARP with taxpayers' money. Come on. It's not that we can't do both. It's that we won't. And we have to ask who really benefits from all this space tech, because I promise you, it's not the single mom in Puerto Rico still waiting for the power to come back on after the latest hurricane. If all this sounds upside down to you like it does to me, hit the damn follow button, because we need each other. Comment your thoughts below. Seriously, we need to talk about how misplaced our priorities are. And please hit that link in the bio to follow me everywhere else that you can find me on the internet. Do you think that the moon reactor is really about science, though, or about control, distraction, and ignoring real problems back at home?
We take you now to the moon, where the Trump administration has a new plan to build a nuclear reactor. The space race is back, and this time it's nuclear.
Get off the nuclear warhead.
But not like that. Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy is set to announce the agency is fast-tracking plans to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. Documents obtained by Politico reveal NASA will solicit proposals for a 100-kilowatt nuclear reactor that would launch to the lunar surface by 2030.
And we're going back to the moon in order to learn to live, to work, to survive.
NASA has made returning to the moon and establishing a lasting human presence there a top priority. Power is key to building bases, supporting crews, and staying long term. And with 14 days of darkness on the moon each month, solar power won't cut it. So the race is on to be the first to bring power to the moon. The directive warning, if other countries manage to build a reactor first, they could declare a keep-out zone, which would significantly inhibit the United States. China and Russia currently have a joint plan to bring a reactor to the moon by 2035. A senior NASA official saying it is about winning the second space race. The UK is already working on its own lunar reactor, partnering with Rolls-Royce to build a miniaturized system that could support humans on the moon.
It's a very small reactor that we can absolutely launch into space, so it's about the size of a car, and it allows us to give continuous energy and electricity. When you've got the sun, you can use solar, but if you want to explore the dark side of the moon and go around the other side, actually you're going to need something else, so the nuclear power allows you to do that.
NASA is looking to get industry input on its reactor plan in the coming week.
Okay, guys, powering the moon is necessary, but going nuclear, isn't that a step too far? Yes. What do you think? Is this a bold move or an innovation that we are going to regret later? Tell us what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Gotcha.